me to do it on camera too?
Hey guys, we are live.
All right. Live and rearing to go. Welcome to WFS Live, guys. And we have all three of us in the house tonight.
We do.
Jason McCutcheon, Bobby R. Burns, and Jared
That is correct.
And we're going to be doing some live film reviews tonight. Should be a good time. We're doing a really late night tonight, figuring we'll help out our West Coast friends this evening. And we currently have 4 films tonight that we're going to try to burn through.
Nice.
I think that's might be a record for us trying to.
I think actually technically 5 because we're going to do something.
That is true. So we're trying to find a name
for a record then.
Yes. We're trying to find a name for this new segment of the show that Jason has created.
Rising
Stars or the Uplift or something along those lines.
Yeah, somebody on Clubhouse is doing a thing called the Uplift, and I think it's a cool name because here's one of the things we want to do, guys, in terms of wedding filmmaking is there's a lot of people who are doing awesome work. Film critique is all about helping us get better, doing all this kind of that side of the community. But there's another side where there's those celebrity filmmakers everybody knows about. But there's some people out there who are doing great work, and we want to call attention to them. We want to show you guys some really cool work. And so we have a really cool person we're gonna show you guys tonight. I've been watching her for a while. I remember she posted an image somewhere, one of her films in one of the groups. And I'm gonna fix this because it's gonna drive me nuts. There. Now it looks like we're talking to each other.
Oh, good.
But she posted a film in one of the groups. And I remember going like, what? How have I never heard of this girl? Anyway, and I said, hey, Ariana, her name's Ariana Roach from Evernest Films. And I said, Ariana, can I please show one of your films tonight and talk about it? Now, a couple things. We're going to show this film. It's by Evernest Films. She's only been making films for, I think, about 18 months, wedding films. To be fair, she does have a background in production, so she's not just a person who has no idea how to make films. She's clearly got some skills, but I want to inspire you. A female filmmaker, which matters to me. I want to get those people uplifted in our community. We want more of you guys making films. You ladies, make some films because there's a lot of talent out there. And then also, she's just thinking good. And she shoots black magic, so therefore it gets an extra boost.
Therefore, it is good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
that's how that works.
Yes, exactly. The artist. And before we hop into the film, why don't we hop into our sponsor of the show? It is, of course, YOLO Live, creator, designer of the YOLO box. And we actually have ours powered this time, so you can actually see what it looks like.
Oh, mine's powered off. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, Bobby, tell us a little bit about YOLO Live, how you guys actually use it for your live streaming platform.
Yeah, so YOLO Live makes the YOLO box. You can see mine powered off. You can see Jared's powered on if you want. But yeah,
this is powered on right here.
YOLO box, small little device, which is awesome for wedding filmmakers. It allows you to stream at a wedding pretty easily. It is compact, lightweight. You can just pop it on top of your camera. You can run multiple cameras into this. It works as a live streamer and a switcher. So really, really awesome tool. If you're looking to get into live streaming, maybe not carry a bunch of gear, something like that. So a lot of awesome features in this little compact device. Highly recommend it. We've shot a handful of weddings live stream with this, and it's been awesome. So you can check it out in the link. This is the YOLO box from YOLO Live, our sponsor for today.
Cool. All right, so let's hop right into this awesome film by Evernest Films.
By the way, we might have some issues. We will try to fix them, but we don't run the internet. So in case anyone's wondering if
the internet runs us.
Yes.
So I'm making plans for the next time. Plans for a night so complete. Making big plans for the next time. Making plans for the next time we meet. Wash me not white as snow, make me black as fur. Winter is a lonely season, but spring and months you had before. You're always with me.
You're standing here today because you're making a choice. You're choosing one another. You have found someone to spend your life with, someone that enhances you, someone that challenges you and makes you want to be a better person. You've discovered you're one person in this world that really makes life come to life. And that is why we're here today, to celebrate the life and the love that you, Artyom, and you, Alina, have created in your life together.
You're always with
Все влюбился еще в начальной школе, когда первый раз увидел тебя. Хоть это самая настоящая правда. Но только к 10 классу набрался смелости тебе написать. Спасибо, что ты ответил.
All right. So that's actually like pretty awesome. We're all here.
We're all here.
All right. So, I mean, we're not doing like a film critique of this, but I just wanted to kind of, because we didn't bring it up here to critique it. Like, honestly, I just wanted to take an opportunity.
Let's
Can you put her film back on?
Yep.
Yeah, man. Is that the first time you've ever seen her work, Bobby?
Yeah, so I think I feel like she posted something sometime somewhere, and I like caught a glimpse, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good. But that was the first time I sat down for full on watch something from her.
Can you believe
and it was freaking good?
It's real good.
Yeah.
We hung out with her. She was on Clubhouse recently.
Okay.
I think it was when we were hanging out with Henry, and Henry was like, dude, this girl needs to come up, and she's like the nicest person in the world, super humble. Like,
that one.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's just amazing, super talented. Makes you want to quit kind of videographer.
Exactly.
Ariana, that video is amazing. You did fantastically, and really excited to see what she does. Actually, I was stalking her work earlier today, and she just posted another film today. So if you want, make sure you're checking out what she does, Everness Films. We're going to post a link right now so people can check that out. Yeah.
And we want you guys, it's important, like support people like this because, you know, exactly. You know, for us, there needs to be more female in the filmmaking game. And we think that really matters. And that's important to us on the channel. That's one of the things we'll always kind of push, but also not just female filmmakers, but good female filmmakers. And that is what this is. This is a very good female filmmaker, incredible work. I mean, the color, spot on. You know what's interesting about what she does? And she does it in a lot of her work. She has like very different vibe from film to film to film.
Mm-hmm.
there's a consistency in terms of the composition. It's all handheld, I think. Black Magic, no gimbal. It seems maybe some gimbal, but also there's also like the use of effects and like what some people might be like, oh, this is gimmicky, but she used it. It's all about style and taste. I think it's the same thing when you watch the way Grace edits for Bottle Brush films. It's like if you just see it without music, with someone like Bottle Brush does, you're like, oh, they do a lot of effects. But when you watch the actual film with the music, it all comes together. And I feel like this has like that luxury look to it. That it's just awesome.
Yeah, and this type of film wouldn't work for every single couple. Not every single couple is going to look like a French model, of course. But she crushes it. She knew
that shot right there
exactly who her clientele was. And also in this case, I mean, it doesn't seem like she's really having to deal with the cumbersome wedding day in general, where it's just looks like the three of them, right? So when it is just the three of them, you can really, the sky's the limit. You can just be full on creative. I wonder if she even worked with a photographer that day, because
I mean, here's what I'll say.
She was able to do whatever the heck she wanted. It's awesome.
Know what you want to make and make that film. So.
Yep.
And Bobby, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this stuff that we're on right now, like on the boat, killer. I mean, the lighting, perfect. I don't know. It was awesome. I agree with a lot of what you said. I think those things that, like, you know, I think they can come off as gimmicks here and there. But when they're used correctly, like in this film, that's not the vibe I get at all. So I really liked it.
No. And I think this is why we want to play it, because if you're a new filmmaker, we want to know, like, anything you want to do, you probably can do if you do it right.
Yeah.
And I think she's a good example of that. So, hey, so we are going to get into some films. So Jared, why don't you kind of take us away?
Yeah, I'm going to pull up our next film. And bear with me, guys. New systems. We're all getting used to it over here. Next film that we're going to have, knew that he was going to be on tonight because he said he used 3 music bed songs. I saw him post about that. So next film we're going to have is by James Turner of Optimal Focus Productions. What's up, James? If you're in the comment section, would love to hear from you. Looks like in this film, James used a Canon R5. And gave a price point of $1,700 to $2,600 for his films. Definitely something to keep in mind. I'm glad we're doing the price point, because I think it's helpful to just know, like, this is a great film for the price, or you should be charging more. Like, that's a definite must when doing these types.
You want to hear the gear?
Definitely want to hear the gear. I mean, we said Canon R5, but tell me about the lenses and whatnot, if you included that.
Yeah, I don't think he included all that. I'm trying to scroll the thing. Was it he has an R5, and that's all I know. He shot 4K 60 R5 all day. Anyway,
and so what we want to do, I actually wanted to introduce a new segment to the WFS live show called the First Frame Critique, because I think what's really important when first watching a film, whether you're a filmmaker, whether you're a bride and groom, anybody watching a film, the first frame tells you, it's a gateway to what you're going to experience the rest of the video, right? And so I want to do a first frame critique of James's, and we're going to do a first frame critique of all the videos tonight, because I think it's helpful. If you like the very first second or two of someone's video, it's going to intrigue you. It's going to make you interested in the entire film, and it's going to retain a person's attention span. So in general, I'm going to play actually not just the first frame. I'm going to go a little bit farther with James's here. I learned boom and stop it there. So right away, it
wasn't on screen.
Oh, it wasn't on screen. It was.
It is now.
Okay, great. So let's reset.
We're back.
Okay, so first frame critique. I want you at home watching this film. What do you think about in this video? What kind of video do you think it's going to be? I wrote down that, this first frame looks like kind of any other wedding in general. It's a shot of it's just random flowers. And also, what does the font say about the couple? everyone that submitted tonight actually has text. So you start with some text, and then what else you start with? You start with some audio as well. So some things that I noticed right away, this is kind of just like a normal wedding film. It's not something that really brought me into the film or made me really think about anything about the film. So immediately I was like, I don't think this first frame really does it for me as far as telling much of a story, and so I think what we're going to do is hop into the rest of the video. We're going to watch it all the way through, and then we'll go through and actually pick it apart. So
I learned a lesson that women can make you stop in your tracks and direct you in ways that you didn't think you would go.
You wrote me 2 sticky notes because that's our thing. We leave Post-it notes around the house, and it says you.
This is the wrong film. Sorry, this is not James's film. I'm sorry. This is. Should I skip back to James's film?
I don't know.
Hang on. This is not James's film.
You should follow the order in the spreadsheet.
It is in the spreadsheet, but it's not in order in this. On the playback. Nope. This is James's film. All right, let's watch James's film.
Our bad.
Oh, that's the same one. James isn't in here, Jay. Unless this is it. Nope.
Just go like this. No, it's the third one.
This is the third one. This is not James's.
Oh, maybe I don't have it.
James, we don't have your film, man. I'm sorry. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna skip ahead to the next one.
I think you do.
Let's just skip ahead, and if it pops up, it pops up. I don't think it's in here. So the first one we're gonna do is actually Trevor's from Malak Media's film, because that's what I have pulled up on cue. He shot on a GH5 and a Sony A7 II. Price point is $3,200 to $4,500. Let's hop in. We'll do a first frame critique right away. Same thing.
Stop in your tracks and
That was the
direct
one
you
we
in
did,
ways
so
that you didn't think you would go.
moving on.
He wrote me 2 sticky notes because that's our thing. We leave Post-it notes around the house, and it says, "You were a library book. I check you out."
Hannah and Kyle fell in love in a hopeless place. That would be Charleston, Illinois, home to Eastern Illinois University. Woo! Let's go! This is a place that is dear to a lot of people here in this room. Shout out to all my fellow Panthers out there.
I used to think Kyle was the friendliest, most liked, and outgoing person. That is until I actually met Hannah. You take all of Kyle's best personality traits and multiply them by 100, you get Hannah.
At first, when I met Kyle, I didn't know if he could be trusted. You know, what kind of grown man puts that much orange juice into his mimosa?
But right now, I'm the happiest man alive. Because I got to walk this beautiful, wonderful woman down the aisle.
After Christmas break, we came back, and Hannah had Officer Wilson on her payroll, and she was his captain.
There's a storm. Oh, whoa,
We have been waiting for this day forever. Kyle, you're the love of my life, my best friend, my biggest supporter, and the future father of our babies. I promise to love you unconditionally, day in and day out. I promise to never walk in front of you, but rather beside you. Can't wait to marry you and see where this marriage takes us along the way. I love you, Kyle Michael Wilson. See you soon. Soon to be your wife, Hannah.
I was
was searching for an open door. I was looking for a peace of mind. It's a feeling that I tend to get. Won't rest until I make it right.
Every single day on this earth is an adventure when I'm with you. Whether it may be a mini vacation, a day trip somewhere, or just trying to decide what's for dinner, I love every second of it when I'm with you. I don't need another thing in this world as long as I have you.
I like that moment.
So you have a book at it.
So you can make it out.
Repeat after me. I, Kyle.
I, Kyle.
Take you, Hannah.
Take you, Hannah.
To be my wife.
To be my wife.
I, Hannah.
I, Hannah.
Take you, Kyle.
Take you, Kyle.
To be my husband.
Sorry. To be my husband.
To have and to hold.
To have and to hold.
From this day forward.
From this day forward.
For better, for worse.
For better, for worse.
For richer, for poorer.
For richer, for poor.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
To love and to cherish.
To love and to cherish.
Until death parts us.
Until death parts us.
And I pledge to you.
And I pledge to you.
My faithfulness.
My faithfulness.
Honey, how could I forget? In the distance where the warning bell.
I like that this guy sounds exactly like Bon Iver.
Okay, I'm ready.
This house up with my own two hands, so you can make it out. So you can make it out.
Well, this is really gonna make you cry.
That's a nice moment.
Oh, it's the
like a rose in a riverbed.
I pronounce them to be husband and wife in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Love you guys. Tonight is for you. To Hannah and Kyle, here's a toast to a perfect couple, to a long life together, filled with happiness, adventure, and lots of wonderful memories. Let's go. Cheers! Woo!
The last words that her father said to me before he passed away was, "Take care of my little girl." And I have tried really hard to do that for him. And I know he would be proud of who is taking over that role in her life.
Hannah, I have a message from your father. I never left you. I watch you every day. I am always very near. I know deep in your heart, you realize I am here. I watch you while you sleep. When you're in bed at night, I hear you when you speak to me. When you're on your own, you cannot understand the reason why I have gone. But I will never leave you. Though you may not see me, we share an unbroken bond. Death won't keep us apart. Just remember me in your heart.
All right, very cool, very good. That was Trevor from Malak Films. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Malak Media.
Sorry, Malak Media. Good call, Bobby. So really good work, man. I loved your film. I thought it was really pretty solid all around. Just hopping right in, I thought I saw immediately the first thing that caught my eye as a filmmaker is bottom left with the watermark.
Same.
Should we have a watermark talk?
Yeah, let's do the watermark talk because
let's
do it.
I mean, to each their own. If you think that you're really worried about your product getting stolen, Alex Douglas had his product stolen from some Romanian guy recently.
Did you see that, Bobby?
We should review it.
Yeah,
we should review it.
We should review the Romanian
We'll
guys.
do that.
film. Yeah.
I'll ask Alex if we could do that. We'll do that next week.
Sure. I think with a watermark, it's really someone's own personal. Of course, if you're worried about your footage getting stolen,
you're being nice.
Totally. But me as a consumer, me as a filmmaker, I'm gonna see that and I feel like it takes away. Right.
I just think, why?
Yeah. Me too.
Why do I want to think of it this way? Not that it is, but let's imagine right where that logo is a beautiful piece of visual information. Yeah, I want to see someone walk. I mean, whatever.
And look, I promise you that Trevor's not including the watermark in the final film To the Bride and Groom, which it's really all about. So, I guess
I don't agree though.
Snooty film people. But if you are, I just know the most famous luxury filmmakers out there don't include a watermark.
Well,
in their films.
and it's not true that this is for the next couple, and the next couple doesn't want to think about you. They want to think about themselves in your film.
Yes.
So if your logo is impressing upon itself, I don't know. You're gonna say something, Bobby?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much in agreement. I just think I think we have a little bit more of a keen eye for this, right, as filmmakers.
Yes.
But with that said, if I try to take that away as a viewer, it's one of those things that takes me out of the story.
Well, immediately, whatever the logo looks like is superimposed on the style.
Well, the other thing too, exactly. So that and even if you would have to be so confident in your logo or what you're watermarking, because that is maybe I look at your logo and I'm like, oh, that's a really sweet logo. But maybe Jason looks at your logo and he's like, dude, that is cheesy. You have just instantly made somebody make a decision on what your entire film is going to be.
Yes.
By putting that. And so that's dangerous, I think.
I'll say with our films, typically we do a logo at the very beginning and then it's gone the rest of the film. So I guess maybe we're a little bit in conflict of our own critique.
I don't mind,
but it goes away.
Watermark. That's not.
It's the watermark. Yes. I mean, there's plenty of people who put logos. It's fine. And by the way,
I put my logo at the end, so go.
There you go. Yeah,
it is what it is. The film can still be good, but it's just a thing. All right, moving on.
So
that women can make
this part here. I really actually going back to the first frame. I really finding out that the film was actually in St. Louis. I wish that it was the arch. I wish that the first frame was the arch, and I wish their names was next to the arch. It's a setting shot. It's an establishing shot. That's the first thing that I'm like, you're immediately conveying story by showing setting, right?
I've got a rule for my films that please don't go and look at all my films. I've probably broken it, but I have a rule that I would like to have.
A principle.
Principle that I usually abide by, which is I either start with a very good establishing shot. And I know, okay, everybody here, drones, bad. Everybody starts with it, whatever. I don't care.
Yes.
Drones are good sometimes.
And it can be good. And it doesn't have to be a drone. It can be something else too. Or more often than not, I want to start with a shot of the couple. One of my favorite shots. I always want to start with a couple of my favorite shots and end with a couple of my favorite shots.
Yep.
That's my principle.
I don't want to jump. Are you going to talk about the music / voice over in this section?
In this section, you can hop right in.
The first time I watched this film, the first thing that came over me is the speech segments that were chosen were super silly.
Mm-hmm.
People are clapping and the music,
which is not bad inherently.
No, that's fine. The music is so dark, and just play a little of it. Unless you
here. There you go.
We leave post-it notes around the house, and it says, "You were a library book. I check you out."
Like that joke
It's
right
all
there.
minor
Yeah,
chords.
minor key music
Yep.
with this really silly fun. I just feel like I'm not really connecting with the actual mood of the day at all.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
this is
Well,
not
you're kind of
serious people.
I like the soundbite a lot. I
The
think the
soundbite is
soundbite is
awesome.
really fun because the thing I really liked about Trevor's film is I felt like I knew this couple and I really liked them because of his sound bites. And not only sound bites, but also something that Trevor did a lot of was include the background noise. So if people are getting ready, you hear them.
Yes.
It just breaks that barrier where you're like, I feel like I'm actually in the room with them hanging out. And then every once in a while he would boost up like their soundbite and you'd be like, oh, I really appreciate hearing their personalities too. So I agree with you on the music.
I'm only
being
talking
a
about
little
the music.
dissonant.
I'm talking
Yes.
about it actually, because of the sound bites being so good.
Yes.
It makes the music being correct and appropriate more important.
Yep.
Because I felt like I was getting to know this couple and I didn't feel like it was matching.
The other thing here that I thought was a little weird was the shaky shot right here, kind of popping up. Something that I always tell our guys, tell our editors, T-shift it out. I love the T-shift in Final Cut Pro. You hit T, you shift it over, and getting rid of that initial kind of movement in, I think is going to be really helpful in just helping your audience not be like, what is going on? Am I like running up to the piece of paper to see what's on it? That was a little bit distracting to me as somebody who really cares about the cinematography side. It was a little distracting. So let's keep watching. I'm gonna turn the volume back up a little bit.
Got to get handles.
Yeah, get those handles for sure.
Hannah and Kyle
Here, this showed me, Trevor, that you really knew how to shoot. Because your framing is great, your color is great. Obviously, you know what you're doing when it comes to using, a nice tight lens. Like that right there, to me, is an awesome, especially in slow motion, is almost even an awesome like first frame. Slow motion with a little bit of movement on the left side. Like this would be an awesome poster frame. I love this image. If our guys came back with this shot, I would be amazed and give
I like the
them a
color and the
promotion.
flowers in the foreground. It's a nice image.
It's definitely a nice image and shows that you know what you're doing with lighting too here.
Yeah.
Not sure if you put them there or the photographer did, but I thought it was overall really good.
Love in a hopeless place. That would be Charleston, Illinois, home to Eastern Illinois University.
Yeah, this is like, it's a big joke. And there's like, bong, this sad
This
music.
is
I
a
can't.
place that is dear to a lot of people here in this room. Shout out to all my fellow Panthers out there.
So I wanted to hop in here because I know exactly what lens you're using. And I've been trying to move our guys away from using this type of shot. The lens flares, when they're looking spidery like that looks like a photographer shot it. It's not necessarily super cinematic. When you do, you have like a 24-70 type lens and you pop out like that, you're going to get those weird spidery flares, which to me isn't very cinematic. It looks like a photographer, pulled up their camera and was shooting video for the first time. I've been trying to get away from a lot of those wide shots. We were talking to Henry recently, and I think it was great insight from him where he was like, dude, I don't do anything wider than a 35 on anything. And I think it's a good point because once you start getting really wide like that, you can tell that that's a photographer lens, which is a little bit, it's just not going to look as cinematic as at least a 35,
Can I
a
give
50, and 80 would be
even
there.
on this? One of the things that is a big missed opportunity here. A, your horizon is very crooked. B, though, if you were just like holding it straight, you could see the arches at the same time.
Mhm.
You could have put their heads between the arches. You could have brought that city into the environment instead of just kind of like, I'm looking at I don't know, is that a fence or something?
Yeah. They're on a balcony.
I could see the arches, and I want that to be, in the shot a little more and not low like that. And I think it's always cool. Like
the idea with this shot though is the flare. The reason why, I would assume, Trevor, that the reason why you shot this shot is because you wanted to get their heads behind the camera, and over here you do like a little bit of movement behind the couple, so it's like you're trying to get it leak out a little bit. But my main problem with it was just like it's not a cinematic flare. It looks like a photography lensed flare. But yeah, I do wish there were a couple more kind of compressed shots, like you said, Jay, where they're in between the arch. I mean, that's the shot, right? That's the shot that's
It's
going
a
to
story shot. That's a story shot.
Let's hop back in.
Kyle was the friendliest, most liked, and outgoing person. That is until I actually met Hannah.
I wanted to hop in too and mention, because this is throughout the whole thing. I think you're great at lighting, Trevor, and great at lighting your toast. That's one thing that really stood out to me was like, dude knows how to light his subjects, gets them in the right spot, make sure they don't move. I wonder what kind of lights you were using. Did he put that in the treatment, Jay?
Here, keep going.
Kyle's
and
best
I'll
personality traits and multiply them by 100.
Great
you get
shot.
Hannah.
At first, when I met Kyle, I didn't
Great
know if
shot.
he could be trusted. You know, what kind of grown man puts that much orange juice into his mimosa?
But right now,
It's GH5 and an A7 II.
This is another shot right here, that wide shot that just doesn't do it for me. Like it looks, I always tell our guys to get really low, but if you get low, zoom in, because it's when you're that low and you're wide, it's just not going to be
The lead is actually all wrong though.
Yeah, the lead's on the wrong side too. The lead
That's
should be on
from a storytelling perspective. You really want to position that guy towards the right so people know he's talking to people over here. Like this is a horror movie shot. You use this shot in horror movies because that killer is going to pop up from behind that pillar right there and kill him. Like that's the storytelling thing that you're doing.
Yes.
So,
to go along with the song, it would tie all together.
because I got to watch.
That's a sweet shot. Great light right there.
I like this. This is really nice.
After Christmas break, we came
Love that shot.
That is so dope. Pause on that.
I love that. Yeah, that one too, honestly. But
They're
Yeah,
both
I
good.
love
All the
shots.
toast, Trevor killed. It's awesome.
Pause. That right there is actually the best shot in the movie.
Yeah, it's lit. It looks awesome. It tells story. People listening. I mean, I love that camera angle. I wish we could get at every single wedding.
Well, the lighting, it's awesome. Great,
Very Sharon like.
great job.
Yep.
And Hannah had Officer Wilson on her payroll, and she was his captain.
Can I say though on that the only thing that I don't like, I love the lighting on that shot, but you have him facing to the right in the first shot and the wide shot, and you have him facing to the left in the other one.
Yeah, that's a little.
That pulls
You
me
could
out.
if you wouldn't have put them right next to each other, you wouldn't have
Yeah,
noticed.
exactly. I wouldn't have said a thing if they weren't next to each other.
Good transition.
I don't like that.
You don't like the transition?
I'm not into it. Only
I
because
do.
he didn't do it in any other place.
Yeah.
That's all.
There's a couple shots like that later.
Yeah.
We have been waiting for this day forever.
Whoa, that guy's
Kyle,
voice
you're
is
the
so
love of my
silky
life,
smooth.
my best friend, my biggest supporter.
So this is something that I thought is when you're not going to be able to hear it in the live stream as much. So it's a minor critique, but his voice is actually, I think his voice is much higher and more fuller than the other voiceovers. I could tell that it was like just a different microphone in general.
He let me know that they were having some audio issues.
Okay. So that was something I thought about, but audio things happen. It's a very minor critique on the audio front that you probably won't notice if you're listening to it through a stream.
Yeah.
And the future father of our babies.
But sounds very good.
Oh, okay.
Sounds
Can
very
I
cool.
bring something up here? This is a thing. I don't know always how to fix it. This guy's reading a letter and he says, "In the future father of our babies." And honestly, the first time I watched this, I was like, what is he talking about? Like, why is he talking about being and I was like, is this a same-sex wedding? I just missed it, or like.
So I picked up on it too, and I think it has to do with the groom is reading the bride's letter.
Yeah, you have to
him,
show it.
and the bride is reading the groom's letter to her, which I wrote down. And I was like, it always works better when the groom is saying his letter, is speaking his letter to the bride, and the bride is speaking her letter to the groom, or groom to bride to bride, whatever. And it makes it a little weird when you're not showing them that, hey, I'm reading the letter actually from.
You have to show, especially when you're reading a line like that.
Yes.
where it's like could potentially make a person. You got to show the letter.
Yep.
At least give it some context.
Otherwise, it's a little bit confusing, and we're just trying to get better at storytelling.
Yeah, I didn't even. Maybe I missed it earlier that there was letters, but up until this point, I had to, because I'm a wedding filmmaker. I know letters exist.
Yes. Yes.
But anyway,
In and
moving
day
on.
out, I promise to never walk in front of you, but rather beside you.
I like that transition.
Can't wait to marry you and see where.
I will say there you did like a panning kind of gimbal shot to like a tilting kind of gimbal shot. And Jordan Bunch would have your head on a stake for using that jump cut right there.
Jump cut.
This marriage takes us along the way.
There
I
we
love
go.
you, Kyle Michael
That
Wilson.
should have been earlier.
See you soon. Soon to be.
But you need
your
to
wife.
establish it, basically.
Yes. This is being picky, and we'll probably always be picky about it, but love in the shot. Love in the shot. If there's
I've
a
got
way
in
that
my
you
notes, love in the shot on the bride.
same love in the shot in the bride and the groom. It's just the small things, you know, when you're trying to elevate your game from, you know, a $2,000 wedding videographer to a $4,000 to a $6,000 to $10,000. Those are the little things that are going to matter. That probably not everyone will pick up on, but some people will, especially when you get to those higher tiers. You don't see as much of that kind of stuff. So,
Well, and you're in a very controlled environment where you can hide it very easily.
yes.
Like you're not, I mean, we're always rushed for time, right? But like, it's not like the ceremony's about to start. So you have the time to hide the mic. If you don't want to hide the mic, if you're worried about it rubbing on something or whatever, like you can also position your camera angle so that you don't see it.
Yep.
I was searching for an open door. I was looking for a peace of mind. It's a feeling that I tend to get. Won't rest until I make it right.
Every single day on this earth is an adventure when I'm with you. Whether it may be a mini vacation, a day trip somewhere, or just trying to decide what's for dinner, I love every second of it when I'm with you. I don't need another thing in this world as long as I have you.
Trevor, what part am I going to mention right in this shot? Because it's an awesome shot. It's the composition of it is great. You can tell you had that, you know, planned, but the tripod, right? Tripod is essentially right where your subject is.
If only there was a
tripod.
video where they could learn where to set their tripods up.
Oh, we did just post how to film a wedding ceremony, part 1, 2, and 3 as of today, which would avoid that. So you're kind of just shooting yourself in the foot when you put your tripod there, which it seems like it's one of your cameras. Couldn't imagine it being anyone else's.
It's just a random stranger.
Yeah, Uncle Bob set up his camera in the back.
I wanted to mention I like the mix with the sound right there.
Me too.
Boom,
Me too.
I'm
Really
wondering
cool.
if it could hit a little harder. I'm trying to think if maybe a little nudge, like, but I like it. It's a really good thought, and of course, a very good shot.
Yep. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
Also, just hold that, man.
Yep.
So you have a book at it.
Good inclusion. Those are the types of shots you got to put in there, even if they're not good. Just because it's for the couple.
Yep. This is all really good. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit because we are somewhat short on time. Really like these shots. Skip to the this part.
Okay, pause it. Oh, so blown out.
I was gonna mention, the blown out sky. This is where it gets a little tough because I know you didn't put the whole wedding party there. I know that the photographer did that. But it's the shot that you decided to go with on this that was kind of more my problem. Again, super wide. This is like a 24 to like probably maybe even like a 16. Like they're probably
Is that
24.
the Panasonic?
If it's a GH5, that's probably more like a 24. So yeah, 24 on a full frame for sure. Which is going to be really tough because most of your frame here is going to be just blown out sky. Middle of the day, the photographer doesn't know what to do. She's going to put everyone in the shade. A 70 to 200, getting in close, getting facial reactions, of the bride and groom here would have probably been my preference, because you're getting a lot less blown out sky and you're focusing more on the action, which is
But I will say,
laughing,
like,
popping a bottle, having fun.
Splitting the difference would be better than going for full blown out. Like,
I think that shot's tough wide no matter what.
It's wide, but it's also a low angle, and that doesn't help.
Yes, that's true.
I definitely would
if you're
not let it be that blown out. It's just too blown out.
Mhm.
It's like,
and also, you know, this might not also be your A cam. This might be your B cam, which usually has less dynamic range. It's maybe your second shooter shooting that shot. So, you know, it's a combination. You essentially avoid blown out sky as much as possible,
well, and
however you can.
flares on that lens suck, so don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to get great flares. It's not worth the like, to me, you got to be at least on a 50 mil to get really nice.
Yep. So let's skip ahead again, because we had a couple more critiques. I mean, I like the action in that shot with the bottle going, but in general, yeah. Let's skip ahead. I want to skip ahead because all these points are great. You're a great lighter. You know what you're doing. Some of these, I saw a couple
I never left
zooms. There's a
watch you
little
every day.
one. I'm
I
not
am always very
don't
near.
hate that one too much.
I know deep in your heart.
It's when we get to the end where we start seeing a little
Share
bit
an
more.
unbroken bond.
Let me see.
Death won't keep us apart.
That zoom right there irks me a little bit.
Yeah, that's not great.
A zoom where that's on a DSLR is going to crush you. It's never going to look intentional. It's always going to look like, oh crap, I'm scrambling to get the shot. And so either zooming in and starting the shot right on the couple at that, you know, focal length, or just doing a little T-shift and getting it out of there and getting rid of your cross dissolve completely is probably what I would have preferred, because it's interrupting. That camera shake interrupts you, takes you out of the moment for me. And just focusing on the bride and groom, that's really what where you want to be living, I think, in that moment.
Yeah, you don't have to include that beginning.
You don't have to include it, especially on a cross dissolve. Just get rid of it. Just cut it out. And then
Just remember me in your heart.
What do we call that shot, Jay?
A dolly zoom?
A butt shot.
Oh, a butt shot.
You know, I used to do photography on the beach, and my boss always used to yell at me when I would shoot butt shots, because this is a cool shot in our mind. It's like they're walking away in the sunset. Story-wise, it's not necessarily terrible, but the bride is not going to like that shot. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to enjoy seeing their backside, unless, especially when their backside is like right in the middle of the frame. You have your leading lines with the people leading right to her. That's not the most flattering side.
I'm gonna minorly disagree with you.
Okay,
but also,
I will show you actually a different video that does a good behind shot that isn't as obvious as this one.
Yeah,
a little bit later.
Yeah, I would say it's not a hard and fast rule, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think you need to be very, very conscious of it. Very conscious of it. And Bobby brought it up in a film review 2 weeks ago. It's like you need to be what you're drawing the attention to.
It has to be intentional.
It has to be intentional. So what I would prefer is a shot if they had turned towards each other. Obviously, you can't control them, but you know, if they were, that's when I would say I would be much more inclined to use that shot, because a profile of someone's ass looks better than
but also you were in front of them shooting, so like, why not just have that?
Yep.
Yep.
That's my point. Is that,
anyway.
You know, this is you know, a good thought, but I promise the bride isn't going to really enjoy it. So overall, Trevor, really good film, man. I mean, I think you're selling exactly where you need to be selling, and you know, you're crushing your game.
Why don't we really quick just give final thoughts, guys?
Sure. And we're rating it on 4 different criteria. So cinematography, editing, sound design, and then directing in general. So
right. So, you know, for me, great film. Really liked it. There's a lot to like. We brought up some of the things we didn't like, which is of course the ominous music and the watermark. I think the things to build on are, of course, the cinematography. Because that's a strength of yours. Keep building on that. I think the sound design, there's a way that it's your strength, and that you picked very good sound bites. I know some people they're great at the storytelling side. Maybe they're not the best at picking music. And I think maybe that's where you're at. You might need a little help there. I would say just keep refining your palette there, trying to pick music that maybe works a little better with the couple. And that's part of your story too. So that's my overall critique. That'd be like the biggest thing. So I think the sound was good. I think the editing was good. I mean, tried a few new things there.
Yep. Editing was good. I didn't see any mistakes really.
No, it was clean. It was I mean, I wouldn't call it
clean and straightforward. Yep, clean and straightforward. But definitely,
it was clean and I will say there probably are some places where you could have picked up the pace a little bit and brought a little more energy in your edit, but that's splitting hairs. So, Bobby,
I agree.
Yeah, so a couple things for me. I think on the cinematography, like we pointed out, a lot of the lighting that we really liked, some of the couple shots, color stuff like that, we really liked. A couple things, I'm kind of doing more quick hitter stuff at the end. So a couple things that I thought could be improved more specifically on the cinematography side. Some of the gimbal stuff was fast for me. I know that I'm a pretty big, I want really slow intentional motion. That takes me out of the story when it's not that. So I did see a little bit of that. And then one thing I wanted to focus on is the ring shot at the end. We don't have to pull it up, but I think that is really a time to shine, especially knowing that your control of lighting or your knowledge of lighting is really great. And I think that ring shot could be a lot better. I don't think the ring was the focus of the shot. It was upside down, which is, you hung it on a branch or something, which I would just do differently. Editing side, again, I think we kind of hit on some stuff. I think the editing was pretty solid. You told a pretty good story. You used really great raw natural moments. And then I guess this kind of audio too is a lot of that natural audio that really immersed the viewer. There were a couple transitions and stuff that for me just took me out. And then the only thing other that I would say is I think I always kind of hesitate to say this a little bit because I don't know what they booked, right? But so if they book you for a 10-minute, this wasn't a 10-minute film, but if they book you for a 10-minute film, you have to do a 10-minute film. And I get that. But if it's up to you, I think this was a longer film than it needed to be. I think it could have been a much more it was a solid film and it could have been even better if you had cut 2 minutes out.
Yeah. Well, look at Everness, the film we did that Ariana did. That was a 4-minute film.
Yeah.
It felt amazing. I mean, given it's a different type of film. Yeah, it's a different type of film, but that's just let you know. I mean, Jared and I, to me, 5 minutes is the sweet spot for most films. Obviously, like you said, couples pay for different things.
Yeah.
So
Kyle is always trying to get me to let him cut it down to 5 minutes, from 7 minutes to 5 minutes.
It's way better.
It is more punchy for sure. Do we want to run a little promo?
Yeah, go for it, Bobby.
All right.
You want to tell everybody about who is our sponsor today?
Yeah, so today's sponsor is YOLO Live. You can see them up in the upper right corner, and they make the YOLO box, which you can see right here. Let's see if you guys have yours and you power it on, you can see it in theirs as well. But yeah, YOLO box, nice, compact. You can see this thing doesn't quite fit in my pocket, but it's in my hand. It's like a big phone, small iPad, something like that. And this thing is an all-in-one streaming and switching device. You popped on your camera. You don't need a computer, a bunch of cables and something like that. You can run multiple cameras into here, an audio source into here, and you can live stream right from this device at a wedding. I have set it up for a few weddings now. It has been awesome. It is a great live streaming solution for wedding filmmakers if that is something that you're interested in adding. Like I said, 2 camera inputs, audio inputs. You can do just sell a SIM card in here. So a lot of awesome options, live switching. You put overlays and stuff like that if you need to. Almost dropped it. But yeah, really cool solution for wedding filmmakers. Pumped that they're sponsoring us. I think both or all of us used this product before they sponsored us. So
yes, they did. It's a product we use. Actually, I was saying I'm really excited about the Extreme, the Blackmagic ATEM Extreme that came out. Just got one of those because now I can plug it into my YOLO box and my program monitor because it has 2 HDMI outs, and I can record it and plug it into my. It's just that thing is going to be so great. Show everybody the screen on, Jared, one more time.
There you go.
YOLO box. We love it. All right, moving on.
Cool. So this next film is brought to you by Let's see. Dylan Yanes, he charged $800 for this film, and he shot the entire thing on a Sony A7 III and then another Sony camera.
Can I say why I picked this film? Just so there's a lot to like here, but the price stuck out to me. And is Dylan here? Are you here, Dylan? Dylan's here.
Not that I'm aware yet.
Okay,
I'll
if
let you guys
Dylan
know if that
ever
changes.
watches this film, I'm going to say this to you, Dylan. You got to charge more, but obviously you got to get a little more experience. But like when you look at this, I think he said $1,100 or $800. How this is an 11-minute long film, so we're gonna skip through a lot of it because I think it's a lot of unnecessary stuff. But he's a good shooter, and like there's a lot to like. And I really want you to hear that encouragement before we kind of rip into the film. Is that you're a good shooter, you're gonna do a good job. I can tell this is the beginning of your career, and so don't be discouraged. Even at this level, I think he could have charged a lot more, Jared.
Yep, of course.
So we'll get into the film, and we might skip a little bit just to make it a little faster.
Yep. So first frame critique, boom. You know, I understand the concept. Yes, and I would say exactly the same thing. I kind of like it. I think your font is great. I think it's a luxurious looking font, which on this live stream it looks very pixelated, but it is luxurious. I wish it stood out a little bit more. So that's what I would say when thinking about what your background is going to be in this case. I wish it had a little bit more of a pop. And then something else that I always notice, and I always tell our editors to do, is just make the font smaller. If you make it smaller, for whatever reason, this is like tip number one as far as making a luxurious looking product is make its subtlety, right?
It's like
luxury is
black
always
bars. It's automatically more cinematic.
Exactly.
Well, especially when you're dealing with that. I think that's like a 239 or 24 crop.
Yep.
Like especially when you're dealing with that crop, I think it being a little smaller feels better.
But looking at this first frame, this is how I feel about getting into this film. Before I thought of anything or saw any other frames in this film, was it looks like it's going to be a southern luxurious type of wedding. That looks like, you know, a Spanish moss type of tree. It doesn't look like Spanish moss itself, but I could tell where we're going to be. I could tell what kind of vibes we're getting into already. And so I think it's decent storytelling. We can tell that we're going to be, the entire wedding takes place under a tree, which it does. And so I think that's good storytelling in general. I guess I just wish it had a little bit more pop to it and maybe a little bit of movement to it too. But let's hop in and let's watch this film. Like Jay said, we're going to skip around a little bit because it's very long. So let's hop in. Does that sound on, Jay?
Something happened
Oh, there we go.
A very positive person. For as long as I've known her, she has been very adventurous. Nothing ever seems to be impossible. From early mornings to late nights.
So I'm gonna just quickly hop in before I forget and make a commentary about the Black Mustang. Not necessarily a terrible shot, Black Mustang. It seems like probably a car that they're proud of, that they told you about, most likely. I'm going to critique her getting out of the car. Getting out of the car isn't a super flattering look. I probably would have waited a couple seconds for
Always has been only one call away.
that shot right there. Because if you do, you're going to just automatically make her, she's going to be standing up straight. The weight is going to fall down a little bit more. You're going to be doing her a lot of favors. And she's going to look at that and enjoy that shot a lot more than the full sitting up out of the shot. And, you know, she's going to be moving around a little bit. And it's not necessarily the most flat.
This is how photographers think about shots. And I think filmmakers need to do more of that.
Yep, certainly. Let's keep on watching.
Relationship in high school. I remember Angel and Irvin being head over heels for each other. Literally. I'm thankful for Irvin.
Oh, man. I don't want to make fun of that guy, but I just wish he got his pants to fit better.
Something I did notice and it picked up on the frame rate on your film. It feels like you're on like a 60 FPS like timeline to me. It seems like you shot the entire day on 60 frames a second, and that it got dropped into a timeline that's 60 frames a second, which isn't going to be the most cinematic look for you. The movement is just going to look a lot more like DV cam ish. Do you pick up on that?
Yes. It's one of the things I noticed.
Yep. So it's going to be a lot more smooth, but
the theme today of really blown out highlights.
Yes.
That he is. He takes full responsibility for his family.
So,
although that's good, like right there, it looks good.
This shot is fantastic.
It's great.
I wanted to hop in because we're not going to watch the whole film twice because it is a very long film. Your gimbal moves are excellent. Like, I know that you're on a gimbal for every single shot I think we've seen so far, except maybe the very first shot. You can tell you know exactly what you're doing with your gimbal and the shots that you're trying to get. That last shot right there is a really cool, very thought out gimbal shot that I think a lot of people would honestly probably struggle with getting that kind of movement. But like Jay said, he's in splotchy light right there. So, and also at the end of the shot, my critique of a shot like that is going to be, what do you see in the background once you get there? Is someone's red minivan. And so thinking about that, thinking about your light, if you had just flipped them around, 180, you're probably looking at your barn, and then you're probably getting backlight and soft facial features as well. So thinking about your lighting, I'm not sure if you had a photographer next to you, but
can we just talk about this shot?
This shot right here?
Yeah. So first of all, the person talking is not the person who you think is talking.
It's framed up that way.
Like,
this is an unmanned camera though.
I know, but don't put it in the film. Like, you don't have to put it in the film.
Sure.
Like, just, this is what I mean. This is an 11-minute long film, unless they paid for it, which is, I mean, I think whatever, but if they didn't pay for it, you don't have to include a shot. You can just have her talking.
Yes, I agree.
And raise beautiful children that will be good people like the both of you. I'll be here for all of it.
Cool shot.
I like this transition coming up right here.
Sorry, you guys can mute me.
To grandma, really cool thought out shot. I think that's good direction.
And the light is super nice.
That light is dope on that side. That's what I was saying. Turn that camera around, it looks awesome.
I am very proud.
I like these people, by the way.
Me too.
They're nice people.
She has chosen for herself, especially
They seem like fun.
Yep.
choose to spend the rest of her life with. But just like I know Angel,
That shot is awesome looking.
Yeah, it's really good. Really good. That's good too. I mean, there's a lot to like in here.
all these stages that us women can go through, gone through, and still may go through life, and yet you have always been there.
Dude, your gimbal work is so good. It's just so spot on.
That person for you.
The thing that I would say about gimbal work is it does feel a lot better when you mix it in with other shots as well. So, doing a gimbal the entire day.
Hey, can I just interrupt and let
you can totally tell.
Ethereum just hit $2,000.
I know.
Sorry. We're crypto nerds.
We are. Yeah. Gimbal shots, using them over and over and over again, it kind of takes away from the fact that you're doing awesome gimbal work, right? To me, a gimbal should be used not necessarily sparingly, but when you're using a gimbal all day,
once a film,
one time, it takes away from your great gimbal work. That one shot of the groom, fantastic. But when it's mixed in with 3 other gimbal shots beforehand, it takes away from that effect.
Can I point something out here? And it's in the other shot too. I can tell that when you have a camera in your hand and you have a little control, you feel good. But I can also tell you feel that you're a little overwhelmed with the reception because the lighting on the subjects is just not there. And maybe you just don't have the lights yet. Maybe you're new and you haven't bought them yet. One critique I see throughout the film is when you get this down, your films will level up like so much. Lighting this subject here, putting that other in a better way. It's a little just like I think when your lighting
Can
improves,
you, be a little bit more specific about the lighting in this.
no hair light. Really, this would look so much better with some rim light on them because they're kind of blending in.
There's a moment coming up that homeboy totally loses his hair into the darkness.
Yeah, well, that was the other shot too. So I think like just having your speeches lit well is gonna level you up so much.
I believe you two are soulmates, and just like Irving and Angel, I can't wait to grow old with you.
Bro, this is like a real love story right here. I love this family like my own. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna shed no tear, none of that. But
So for time's sake, I'm gonna stop this film. Just for time's sake.
Yeah, just skip forward.
And I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. So we're at, let's see, 30 minutes. Let's skip ahead a solid 2 minutes and see what kind of vibes we're feeling still.
Well, and
well,
that's a nice session
right here.
Yeah, there we go.
This is the next song. Another one of my critiques was the music was very similar for they used 4 different songs in this film. Music is very similar in the first 3. And so they had similar vibes. And I'd say when you're picking your music, you want peaks and valleys, right? So you want to go really low. You want to have that violin going, make it really slow and get those kind of nice slow motion shots. But then also picking it up a little bit and making it so that you're kind of ramping it up, creating climaxes, creating tension, as Jason always likes to say, is a good editing, storytelling element. So song selection here might be something, you want to think about. In general, let's open the can of worms as to,
pick up the pace, man.
Yeah, get somewhere.
Like, first of all, these people are fun. They are fun people. Like, you missed it, but the guy goes, yo, respect, bro. Like, that was in his speech.
Yeah.
like that is, you don't get any of that in this film. Like, at the end, there's a little dance segment and whatnot, but like, you got to give these people, like, right there, that shot and these shots put them in a situation they're clearly comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of situations in here where they're not. Like, this is beautiful, by the way. I really like this portrait session. And this is where I like a wide lens. I like that shot wide.
I would say it's still pretty blown out, but that just has to do with more with your sensor, your camera.
I'm into that. I'm into these shots. Like, I feel it reminds me of like, it's very Southern. Yeah, I mean, it's cool looking.
Yep.
But that to me is blue and bad.
Yep.
So like when you look, I don't like that you had all this golden stuff. This is one of my pet peeves, is a consistent color temperature. It's like, if you're going to bring me to the golden hour, don't bring me back to the blue hour.
Yep.
Or don't take me to that next part. Like, let's just keep it beautiful and golden. And I feel like we're getting ready over and over and over and over again. Like,
yeah. So at this point, it's about 7.5 minutes in, and
we've seen the beer shots like 8 times already.
Yeah. So let's talk about that here, because we're getting far into this film. This film is very long. I think all of us can agree that, and I'm not sure if that's something that you were contracted to do, that you had to do. But 12 minutes for most films is going to be pretty brutal. What do you think, Bobby?
Yeah, I was going to say that, like, I'll say 2 things. One, I think, so you guys did the background on this and you guys watch it. I always do these. You're watching me watch this for the first time live. But so I think my understanding was this is pretty early on.
$800, I think is what he said he charged.
One of the first weddings. Does that sound right too? Yeah. So this is something that you're going to learn with time, in my opinion. There is a certain amount of leeway of saying, hey, well, they contracted me. They wanted an 8-minute film or whatever. There is also a certain amount where you are a professional and you need to tell them that an 11-minute film is maybe not what they need. And you can do that after this is just my opinion, so people can disagree with me.
No, I agree with you. No one can disagree with that.
I think in time you will just know that inherently, right? In time you might just, like, I don't offer anything over like 7.5 minutes. I don't want to do it. I don't, whatever. And there are people like Henry does amazing long films, right? And he loves that too. So that's great.
Well, but you're bringing something up, which is like, if you're making an 11, you have to shoot it differently.
Yep, exactly.
You can't just make an 11-minute long film
Like there are some amazing shots, and yeah, like you guys said, the cinematography is awesome. There's some awesome stuff in here. There's also stuff I would improve for sure, but this is something where you, even after the fact, could say, look, I don't think you want an 11-minute film. I think you want this amazing 5-minute film.
Well, and you're going to learn how to shoot an 11. If I'm doing an 11-minute film, I'm going to go like, I'm going to go, hey, listen, I need to come and like, there's no getting ready footage in this. Like, it's not an 11-minute film. It doesn't have the content for an 11-minute film. And I think learning how to sell an 11-minute film, I think is tough. I personally, at the beginning of your career, I would keep it on the shorter side. I wouldn't do that.
The other element to this too is I don't think we've seen a single shot that's in regular motion. So obviously that's going to extend your film to be 12 minutes long. If you're like, hey, I love all these shots, just by simply putting it in regular motion for a lot of these parts, especially the parts that are fun, fun moments, in my opinion, should be used sparingly when for slow motion. I would say most of the time
they feel better and natural.
It brings energy to your film, which
those
honestly,
beer clinks.
At this point in the film, this is what you need to be driving. And when you're driving, when you're editing, you want to be showing fast-paced cuts. You want to be showing people hugging in regular motion. I would say even speed ramping a little bit at this point. You want to be building with the song a little bit.
So why don't you go towards the dance footage?
Okay.
Because he does. So yeah, stop it. Go back there because there's something interesting about right when that wide shot.
If I need help, this person I can talk.
Okay. By the way, Drake made an appearance.
Drake is here.
So Drake's brother.
Drake is making an appearance on this live stream.
Yeah, right here,
right here on this film.
But I just want to thank him and Angel.
He's gonna do something cool here that I like.
Thanks for having me here, and all of us are happy for y'all. Very happy. And you know what? If y'all have y'all's drink, a round of applause for these two couples right here that are now married. And we're going to keep on doing it, baby. Y'all know.
I would not include that.
All right. So we're going to turn it on up. DJ, I need you to put a song for these two couples right now, baby.
Okay, pause it.
Yep.
First of all, you don't need all that talking. Cut it. Second of all, don't let your audio peak out. Third of all, I love the stylistic choice of dropping the beat, bringing in that element of fun.
Perfect.
Cool.
So thought out. Really, really well done. Exactly what Jay said. I would even just put probably that soundbite like, DJ, play a song for these two. Boom. And then you hit it there. The other stuff is just kind of like
meh,
unnecessary. And that's honestly the difference between being a good editor and a great editor is knowing that you have a lot of good stuff, but just knowing what's going to be great and putting in what's going to be fantastic for the film. So at the end of the day, that's being a good editor.
Yeah, and I think he ended in a good place, and it shows like I think this shows a lot that he has good instincts.
Mm-hmm.
The whole film, but that he's new, and so I want you to be encouraged. A lot of this stuff is going to come naturally. Later.
Let's play this.
Yeah.
I really like her.
Yeah, they're cool people. I like that he's wearing the cowboy hat.
I like this a lot. Good transitions too.
Yeah, he does. I don't like
that transition.
That was wrong.
Had the same dreams since we was kids. Big tips, big cars, and even bigger cribs.
Center.
That it would happen just the way it did.
No.
Fast forward that now, it's just the way we live.
Pause it really quick. That is not a nice shot.
Which?
That one right there.
Feeling
of beer?
Yeah, it's just there's like orange juice in the background. It's just not good. Like I would say
but Topo Chico,
a couple of places in this area, I really would have liked to seen a tighter lens. More blur.
Lens, faster cuts.
Yep.
More blur, just so I don't see the especially when you're doing these COVID weddings, man, you don't want to keep showing the empty dance floor. You need to
get in there.
Yep. Definitely.
Makes you think that this life's made for a king.
I like what he's thinking there, though.
I like the transitions. I think he's doing
the
good.
The transitions are fine. I just don't like the shots. Little.
So many different things to do within the heart. Let's go.
film over.
What makes you think that this life's made for a king? So many different things to do within the high life. And that was girls.
That would have been the end of my film. I would have got through one chorus and I would have ended it.
Yep.
Like that's what I mean.
And when you're when you're doing a super fast paced cut, you can get away with it and you can crunch all your footage into a small amount of time and just captivate people. Like, don't keep it short.
Like,
don't keep it.
Go to the final little end of the frame. But I think like
the final shot, the whole film.
Yeah, because it's just a bunch more. Yeah, like show them walking out and whatnot.
I actually like the sparkler stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
You included a lot of people, which I like.
Yeah, I like that.
It's just a
oh, you hit that edit. Also, it shouldn't be slow mo.
I don't necessarily mind a slow-mo shot, but when the whole thing is in slow-mo.
Well, no, but the music.
I think it goes back to just when everything's in slow-mo, nothing is in slow-mo. So doing it tactfully and actually having it added for effect as opposed to just doing every single shot, I think will help it out.
So you can see your lights, which I don't really mind. I know Bobby doesn't like that, but
I don't mind that one.
Yeah, it looks cool.
I don't mind
because it doesn't look like it's a videographer's light. It looks like it's a floodlight.
It's just a light somewhere. That's totally fine.
So
yeah,
the text over the bride. That was my last critique here. I honestly don't even see the need for it here because you've included text at the beginning of the frame. If anything, I would put it in that bottom left corner and just make it super small. Just you can't cover their faces with text there. So minor critique for the final frame in general.
Yeah. So let's kind of talk about the film a little bit. Bobby, obviously you were chasing a dog around a little bit.
I was kind of in and out.
But we'll start you with your much discounted critique.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what I would say, I think I'm kind of unplugged from that story because I just wasn't here. I also don't like you guys disagree or you guys do it differently. I don't like to watch these films before I live review them, so I haven't seen this film in full. But I can speak to the cinematography side a little bit more, I guess, because I saw glimpses of that. You had some awesome shots. I agree with what you guys were saying about the color temperature, like going back and forth was kind of tough. I think on the editing side or the story or whatever, it's just like, again, it's just too long. And you're just like, I know what you're doing because I did it too, which was like early on in my career. I'm like, oh, I got to put all these shots in or else they won't like it. And that's just not the case. The only other thing I would say, this is maybe a pet peeve of mine. I don't know if we've all talked about this, so I don't know how you guys feel. I generally don't like slow motion. I think this is a great example of slow motion, not only a crutch, but hindering your film. Like, not only do I think it's something that you leaned on and said, oh, I'm going to make everything slow motion, but I think we've already discussed that I think your film would have been better with normal motion in a lot of parts. And I have a distinct dislike of slow motion. So, always take my opinion on that with a bit of a grain of salt. Because I know plenty of people like it. It's just not my style. I think it can stunt you as a filmmaker a bit. But even without that, even without saying, well, I generally don't like it, like I can just say there's too much of it in this film.
It just has to be intentional.
Intentional. That's everything. Movement, slow motion, color, anything has to be intentional.
So my basic thing was he's a good shooter. Clearly inexperienced. I think he probably got blown away by some of the moments. Didn't feel like he was comfortable to set up his audio or his lights. The things that are actually the hardest part about a wedding day, by the way, are those transitions. So I would say this is not so much a film critique, but more of a shooting filmmaking critique, which is like give yourself time and treat those boring types of your day with as much care as you treat your portrait session, and your film will be better.
You'll also probably leave with less footage, more intentional footage, and it will inherently make your edits more concise.
From a editing storytelling standpoint, Jared, to me, I didn't feel like I got the couple seemed like really fun and nice people, and until the end, I didn't really connect with that vibe. And I would say, like, when I got people saying like respect, bro, and like their beers clanking, and like these are like fun people. They arrive in a Mustang. They're not slow-mo people. They're fun people. And so I think that was my critique from a filmmaking standpoint. Too much slow-mo. From a story standpoint, I didn't really feel like the film connected with the couple, and it was too long. And I feel like I said, the reception stuff was kind of just mailed in. It wasn't lit well. It didn't really bring me in.
Yep. Going back to our points, cinematography, editing, sound design, cinematography, I thought you have really good instincts. Just in general, great gimbal movement, great gimbal shots. I think it's something that you lean on a lot to just because it's something that you're really good at. We talked about it this past week on the podcast is, you tend to get in habits of like what is easiest as opposed to what is best for the film or what is going to be creative or what you're
comfortable,
what's going to push me as a filmmaker. So that's what I would say is push yourself with some other things. Maybe try something that's a little bit more handheld, because that's going to mix up your cinematography a little bit. It's going to make it more interesting to your audience. It's the same kind of critique I would have as someone using the same exact lens for every single shot. Just if you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, it's not going to be interesting to people anymore. It's going to start looking very similar. You're going to start having repeat looking shots. So there, audio and sound design, it was kind of meh to me. Like I would say the quality is one thing. You won't be able to really tell a lot through a stream, but it really didn't do a whole lot as far as the storytelling element. We kind of talked a little bit about it, using those points to just cut it down a little bit more to tell I think a little bit better of a story. I think you could work on that a little bit. Your editing is good. There's a couple points that we didn't talk through. Your first song transition, go back and listen to it. This is just going to be for you to go back and do. I could tell that your song didn't transition evenly. Like you cut the song out and you were doing a little bit of sound mixing from the first to the second song transition. So that could have been smoothed out a little bit more. Go back and watch that part. I think that would be helpful, but overall, good film, especially if you're charging $800. I mean, they definitely got their money's worth for what you're doing. So keep it up, raise your prices, try some different things. And you'll crush it, man. So shall we move on or shall we hop into the YOLO box?
Let's move on and we'll do one more little YOLO box thing. If you don't know about the YOLO box yet, you need to know about it. There's links all over the place. Go look at them and click on them and look at
I'll hit you with a link.
There we go.
Give me 1 second.
These are show partners of ours too, so it means a lot to us when you support Wedding Film School by buying these things from our links. It means a lot to us, helps out a lot. If you like this content, helps a lot.
Okay, so this next film is from Matt Alt. I think that's how you say his name, or Alt.
Matt Alt. I like this film a lot.
Yep. He charged $4,500 and was mysterious. He didn't tell us what gear he used for it. If I remember right, we didn't have any gear, right?
No gear.
No gear. This is a really cool film. Let's hop in. Okay, first frame critique. I think it's cool. I think this is super cinematic to me. This reminds me of like Kubrick. This reminds me of like.
It looks expensive.
It looks expensive. It
just high end.
It looks designed.
This hits my like either start with a really good establishing shot or a shot of the couple. I will say, I'm not a fan of people who say a film by the beginning.
Oh, I don't like that either. I don't like that either.
I don't care if Alex Douglas does it. I don't care if Henry Martin does it. I don't like it. Doesn't matter. Like the film.
There's a good filmmaker in Paris, France, who Pascal Dele, who does this a lot, and that's his kind of signature thing as well. He does awesome work. This film kind of reminded me of him, actually, so that's a good thing.
It's a smaller film too, so we can probably go through it one time.
Sure. Let's watch it. The first things that you pick up on this too, in addition to your shots and of course your font that you're using, it looks expensive, is your sound design. You hear the ocean too. You hear the
think a sense of color is big too. Like you know the world you're gonna be in from a color perspective.
Yep. And this is something that they used to do in films in like the 50s, 60s, 70s a lot is your pre-roll credits, right? And the reason why I took a class on it in school, in college, and the whole class was on just pre-roll. We would just study all these pre-rolls. It's essentially setting your audience up for what you're going to watch in the future. And I think film has gotten away from that, modern day filmmakers. But I've always really enjoyed that part.
Because it used to be
Same
that
thing.
the director was part of the stardom, and now it's all about celebrities. So they want to get celebrities on screen as soon as possible.
Yep. So let's get our celebrities on. We're going to watch the whole thing through.
The longer we were together, the more I realized we don't complete each other. We are each whole, but we amplify each other, creating something so incredibly magnificent. You match my highs and pull
That's
me from
cool
my
looking.
lows. The last 12 years has been an incredible adventure, and I'd choose you in 100 lifetimes, in 100 worlds, in any version of reality. I'd find you, and I'd choose you.
"12 years today. I have loved you for 12 years. Well, 12 years minus the 3 weeks it took me to say I love you. Because let's be honest, I knew this relationship would be special. You were and still are my best friend.
What more can I say on our wedding day? You make me laugh. You make me feel loved. You make me smile. What more can someone want in a life partner? I love you, and I can't wait to marry you today.
I promise
You got a
to
good
continue
day
to
for
love
it.
you as fiercely as I do and make sure you never doubt that you are the center of my world. I promise to hold you when you need it the most. I promise that no matter how busy we are, I will always make sure we spend time together. Because you're my best friend, and you deserve to have fun and laugh every single day.
Loving you has come so easy to me. I walked into love with you with my eyes wide open, choosing to take every step along the way. From the moment we kissed, I knew I would marry you. At 17, people thought I was crazy. But here we are on our 12-year anniversary, surrounded by all our loved ones in person and virtually, celebrating the love that sparked that day.
That was a smooth move in real life, just so you guys know. That's a good flair, too.
The joy and love I have for you is not something that can be contained or should be. The love I have for you is what I will make my life's work to show you until the end of time.
Good ending frame.
Cool. All right, so let's talk about initial thoughts. I think the song was literally the perfect song.
I hate that song.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I thought it was a perfect song.
I didn't like that song so much that I went back and watched all his old films to see if he picked songs like that.
Yeah.
And he does. So it's a personal decision.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not into, like,
romantic music?
No, I like romantic music. Like the film I used the song in like it just to me, it's a little cheesy. Like I would have liked something that was a little more sophisticated sounding. I feel like you walk a very fine line when you get into something that is that much strings and that much piano.
I agree, but I think the shots actually match the epicness of the song. It becomes cheesy when they don't zip together.
To me, it's not about the way that it's just when I think about it as a musician, I listen to the song by itself. And if I don't like the song, I don't care what the film looks like. I just don't like the song. That's personal. That's a personal.
I will bridge the gap, and I will say I didn't love the song, but I thought it worked fine for the video.
It worked.
I would never choose
fine
that
for the film. It worked fine for the film.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
It was a good. I'm trying to imagine what would have worked better because their vows are so serious and very what's the right word? Sincere. They're very sincere and very romantic too. So that's what I would hear.
Just put something that's not a black screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. I like that, Frank.
Yeah, so I thought it worked well for the song, and it builds over time.
I agree.
Builds the epicness.
I wouldn't criticize it. That's why I went back and looked because I'm like, this might be a personal thing for Matt. Like he likes that vibe. Clearly, his couples like that vibe. It's interesting how we can have such different opinions, and I wanted to bring that up because I want you to know who cares what I think about that. Jared loved it and I didn't like it. And that's the only reason I brought it up is because he said he loved it, because I want that to be very clear that is the art we're making. Like we are not trying to make everybody happy, and like your couples love it and like you're clearly into it. And I do think it works with the film, by the way, which is what is most important.
Yeah. I thought his cuts in general were very good.
Very good.
And on point to the music. Matt, clearly editing is in your wheelhouse for sure, man. So great work there.
I felt like just as we're seeing these shots, like I felt very like I felt like I understood the timeline of the day, which feels good to me. I like that personally when I know what's going on. B, I felt like I understood them as people. Like the vows, I mean, given these people wrote awesome stuff, like you can't force that. But I will say, like, you knew what you were like. It's obvious to me you shot this film and you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what I'm working with. And you made the film that drew that out of it. So I mean, I liked it. But
something I was going to mention that I really liked about this film was your use of silhouettes.
Yeah,
it was clear you knew exactly what you were doing with your silhouette work. And that was, you knew it was just going to be a common theme, which honestly, in this case, was probably your best light, man. I really loved your silhouette work. So bravo to that. This shot here, dynamite. That one shot there. Where is it? There. Love that shot. Oh, there we go.
It has a little micro adjustment up there.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I'm into a lot of the silhouettes. I mean, even that one, which is not full silhouette. I like this one through the window.
This one through the mirror or through the window shows that your composition is spot on as well. Especially for like an anamorphic-y type of letterbox.
It's cinematic.
Frame.
This is real cinematic because it's visual storytelling.
Yep.
Because you can see the pen in his hand. It's not just this throwaway. Like, what if I shot him through a window?
Yep.
Oh, it's like a real shot.
Yep. And thing about this shot is you had to think about it. You had to actually move your feet outside and think through the whole process. And this is what I think of when I think of this is good direction. This is good directing in general, because when you're filming a wedding, you are director, your cinematographer, and your editor all at the same time. So you are directing your film by figuring out where your feet are going to be placed when you're filming this. You're not just being lazy and staying in the room. You're figuring out.
Well, yeah, I mean, you probably
I'm gonna run outside. I'm gonna actually take 5 minutes to go get this one shot of him writing this letter. And so
he had to communicate
really
to which is another skill you learn as you get experience. You say, "Hold on, I'm going to go outside." And actually having that conversation.
There were a couple shots once we start getting out towards the rocks. I do wish at sometimes, especially on your drone stuff, that it felt a little bit more punchy. I felt like it got a little bit washed out on some of these shots. That's a very kind of minor critique.
Yeah.
But I think that looks sweet. You know, that's kind of some nice, really punchy stuff. But once you started getting out of the rocks, I do wish that it felt a little bit more punchy in terms of contrast. But that's, again, personal preference.
Bobby, what do you feel about the obvious, basically, I think one lens all day?
You know, I'm kind of okay with it. I think it works. I think that, you know, it's one thing if you're to one extreme, right? If you're super tight or super wide. But this looks like something medium-ish, right? 50 or something like that.
Looks like a 35 to me.
I think it's a 50.
Really?
I think it's a 50
also.
Yeah, it's probably a 50.
It all depends if he's using
Either way, I
black
think
magic.
it works. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I think the thing that stands out to me, there were a couple things. One, so like that shot right there, the color just looks way different to me than those nice sunset ones. And it's like, it's not bad, but it's like,
well, yeah, for that shot and then that
when you're
shot.
going back and forth, that's what gets me. And it's this like beautiful, golden, colorful sunset, and then it's this like green, washed out shot, kind of. So the
I can
back
see
and
that.
forth, I think, hurts me a little bit. I mean, it's like we're getting so nitpicky. This is an amazing film.
Yes.
A few things that stood out to me that I just want to go over. One, I don't think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think there was any gimbal in this. And if there was, it was very minimal.
I didn't notice any.
So I love seeing that.
Yeah, it was good.
I thought the audio for being right on the beach for those vows was super clean. Like, I know we're
Oh
on
yeah,
YouTube,
I didn't even think about that.
but like that could be tough. And so I don't know if you just got lucky or you cleaned it up really well or whatever. The only thing that I would say, so I would mirror a lot of what you said. I love the silhouettes. I love the lighting, especially in prep and stuff like that. The one thing that I think it happened so many times that I started to not like it was starting out of focus and racking into focus on shots of the couple. It happened like 4 times. And I think, it was just like, there was one in prep and they were right next to each other, one of her, then one of him. So like part of me kind of likes that. Like I always love when there's like that like juxtaposed thing, right, between 2 different shots, 2 different people. But then part of me was like, it's just like a little much. I don't know. And then there's like, I think it happens here and there's one other shot too. So like, it's not a bad thing. It's just maybe you're trying it out and that's cool. And
I think it's better in an edit when they're close together. Like it's like a section.
Well, and what I was going to say is that I I saw a lot of those shots. And I was like, I really like that shot when it was out of focus. I would liked it if it was in focus. Cause like, this is a nice shot. If it were in focus, this shot is a nice shot. It's out of focus. If it's intentional, like I like that. You have these beautiful waves, sunset in the background, your horizon's a little bit off, but it's not a big deal. Right. But like, and they're out of focus and they go in for a kiss or whatever. Like that can totally work. It's the fact that you went from one to another that I didn't like. So I like those out of focus intentional shots sometimes.
I can see that.
Jay, what do you think?
I would fix your horizon because you're editing and you can just do it.
Jay's going to say that every time.
Well, it's just you can do it. B,
That's
also
okay,
like
nitpicky again.
As photographers, like I always hear Ben Hayes talk about where you put the horizon in the frame, like where it's like
intersecting on their heads.
Yeah, like I don't love where the horizon is there, even though I like the shot enough that I'm fine with it.
You're saying lower?
Maybe lower. To me, it's like cutting him right in the eye line.
Yeah, I always look at, it's a line. So you want your line pointed at where you want your faces to go. So, maybe having them pop above the horizon a little bit to isolate them a little bit more. I think that
maybe.
Again, we're getting super nitpicky.
Yeah. And I think the other thing, this is a thing that this is also personal, which is a great thing. I like that we're bringing our personal opinions into this. When I look at this, I go, man, I wish it doesn't have to be a different lens. But I don't like it when, especially an intimate film like this, I want to feel closer to the couple from time to time. I want it to feel a little more like intimate and like getting in there closer for some of this, especially this session right here. I think that's all it needed.
It kind of mirrors my critique. My main critique for this, Matt, is the shots are awesome. First time I see them, second time they're still awesome. It starts to get pretty repetitive after a while. Like this shot, I feel like I've seen looking at the sun a bunch of times, which you got to ride when you're hitting that sunlight and it's like landing perfectly. They're reacting well to each other. You got to shoot it. You got to be there. In the edit, it starts feeling a little bit repetitive, and that would probably be my main critique. Again, we're parsing, hairs,
and
here,
that goes with the lens choice too. If you're on one lens the whole day, where
yes.
like I think if you I'll take a 35 and I'll go way close.
Yes,
I don't really care, but
I wanted to see some hands.
This medium shot is there a lot. Yeah, get the hand, get like chin, nose, whatever. Like getting close and get wide, like really wide. You had the really cool shot of them walking out on the rocks. But
we were looking at Forge in the North. If you haven't heard of Forge in the North, I don't know. You want to paste them in the comments somewhere, but New York City,
Ryan Brown and Heidi Brown.
Yes, they shoot pretty much one lens all day, Fuji, but he's so active.
Yeah,
he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. And
if you're doing it, it's all about moving your feet. You got to move your feet in. You can't get comfortable. You have to be comfortable being up in people's grill, up in their face, but then also feel good about your super wide shots.
Yeah, we don't shoot that way. We don't shoot that way, Jared and I. But if we wanted to shoot with one lens, we would have to.
This is the difference between the way a photographer shoots videography and the way a videographer shoots videography. Is a lot of times prime lenses, and a lot of times photographers know how to move their feet when they're using a prime lens. That's just my basic observation of photographers who turn into filmmakers. They know how to get in there and use their lenses like a 35 super close. The other thing about when you're getting super close, like I wanted to see her hands. I wanted to see them play with their hands a little bit. You get that fine detail when you're shooting in 4K that just looks awesome. It focuses your eyes on something that's super sharp. And so I wanted to get in there a little bit more. I wanted to see her hair being hit with that beautiful backlight and just kind of like shimmering, a little bit more texture, which you did in an earlier shot with the hat. Like you had like a cool Stetson hat. Like you felt the texture of that hat and it looked awesome. I wish I felt that a little bit more during these portrait sessions. So
yeah. Because it's an intimate thing. It's all about intimacy. So draw us
totally.
So
that's something photographers do really well is these sessions is they actually get their butts in there a little bit. So
all right.
Let's keep on going.
These were the shots. A ton more, by the way.
These were the shots I wish felt maybe a little bit more punchy to match some of that more film.
Yeah, but look at the light, like on that one side, it's like black. It's tough. I mean,
the light is black.
Yeah, well, it's on the right side. Like you can see where the sun's coming from. It's like really dark in those shadows.
I don't know, man. I think there's some room to bring that down. I would expose for the highlight a little bit more there and make it match the rest of it because the rest of it's a little bit more.
I can see that. I'm just trying to be nice.
Because then it goes to that and it feels kind of silhouetted. Shot. Yeah, that's nice.
The drone shot.
Oh, you like the drone shot?
Yep.
Being super bright.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we can kind of let's go to the end, and I think the last shot was really good. Them walking away, Jared.
Yeah.
I was really into it.
It's a good shot.
Oh, and the sound in this film was so good.
Yes, I wanted to mention that too because we had a film earlier that where the bride was reading the groom's letter and the groom was reading the bride's letter. In this film, they swapped it, and he had the groom actually read his letter to the bride, so it made it seem like he was speaking to the bride. That's just a really subtle like way to give a little bit of punch and be a better storyteller. As you have the person who's giving the letter actually speak the letter. I think that's a pro tip right there. Really good job, Matt, there.
Yep.
Communicate that early on. Communicate that early on when you're going through the schedule of the day. Be like, hey, I want to get these. If they're doing letters, I want to get these letters. I want you guys to read the ones that you wrote. Keep them unsealed. We will swap them for you. I want 5 minutes during prep. That's all I need.
Yep. I think it's a really good film, and I think he ended on a really great shot. And the horizon is also crooked.
And we'll end on that.
Yeah, hey, that was great. So I mean, and I'll go first. I think cinematography wise, kind of nailed it in a lot of ways. I think story wise, I really loved it. Like, I felt really plugged in with that couple. I felt really, really connected with what they're doing and who they are and their love, man. I could feel the genuine emotion that these people had. There's, of course, some of those color issues that I think it was maybe sometimes you put a LUT on and LUTs are not calibrated for everything. And like, it can make some colors look funky and some exposures go down. And I'm not sure what happened there, but I could tell there was some color matching issues. But other than that, and of course the Crooked Horizons, I think it was a great, great, great film. Awesome. And like I said, I want to get in there a little more intimacy, but I mean, it was a great film, great songs. Loved it.
You're definitely charging enough. And I would say that you could definitely, charge more moving forward. You find the right couples for sure, man. You're right there, Matt. Really good work. Really impressed. Do you want to do that other thing that we had talked about?
I mean, why not?
Thing?
It's late.
We got 15 minutes.
Let's just close out.
We usually do 2 hours worth.
Bobby,
what do you think?
Out.
Should we do the surprise thing?
I don't know what it is, so it's a surprise to me.
It's the thing you said not to do.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't really sell me on it.
Hey, so before we do the thing you said not to do, why don't you tell everybody about the YOLO box one more time?
Yeah, what's up? All right, so YOLO box. Well, YOLO Live is our sponsor today. They make the YOLO box. You've heard this throughout the stream a couple times. YOLO box, an awesome, small, compact, lightweight live streaming solution for wedding filmmakers or whoever. I've used this at weddings. I used this before they were a sponsor because I thought it was awesome. I was interested in offering my couples live streaming. This is like right in the midst of COVID. We all know how that affected things. Live streaming demand went through the roof, but even after that, even now, we're still getting live streaming demand. And yeah, I mean, this thing basically saved the day. I don't need to bring a computer and all these cables and have this confusing setup. I can pop this just onto the hot shoe of my camera. Sorry, my dog is just sitting in my lap and doing her thing. But anyway, I can pop this into the hot shoe of my camera. I can run multiple cameras into this. I can live stream. I can record directly to an SD card on here. I can put a SIM card and use that. I can plug an Ethernet in. I can plug an audio source in, and I can live switch all that from this device. So check out the YOLO box. I'm going to go ahead and paste it here one last time in the comments. They are our sponsor, YOLO Live, who creates it, and you guys should at least check it out if you are interested in offering live streaming services to your couples at a pretty, this is like what? You guys remember it's $800, $900, something like that.
It was on sale a lot, and so I mean,
yeah, it's anywhere
we
from
paid
like
$1,000 for ours. But.
Yeah, I think I paid $1,000. Anyway, I mean, I made back in one wedding, so give it a look. If you're interested in offering that to your couples, it's a great solution.
I will say with YOLO box, I'm very much not the tech nerd geek. Like, I'm much more like put a camera in my hand. Let me do photography and video. Like, I want to create visuals.
And I'm like,
and Jason is like a robot. What was it like? Yeah, that thing. And so YOLO box is mad easy for someone who's like, doesn't even want to deal with any kind of like technical crap. It's so easy to just hook up. If you're a photographer, you can do it. So
yeah. Easy enough for a photographer.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say, like, I never would tell somebody to shoot a wedding and live stream as a solo shooter.
Not the way I do it.
I would just never do it anyway. There's just too much that can go wrong.
Agreed.
But this is as close as I could get to saying it might.
Yeah, you could possibly do it.
If everything went right, you could do it with the YOLO box.
Could do it.
I don't recommend it, but
yeah. So we're gonna do something fun because we had bottle brush. It's kind of bottle brush week here in Wedding Film School. So they talked about a film on our podcast, which you should go back and listen to, and check out the Wedding Film School show. It's on podcast. It's also on the channel. We also released our 3-part How to Film a Ceremony in the last 7 days. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely check that out as well. And then I was gonna also say. Definitely give us a support us by hitting that alert bell. We do these live film critiques every Friday. We're still working on getting the right time for everybody. So if you have any feelings on that, let us know in the comments what the best time for you is to do the live streams, because we want to hit the most people. We're trying it late. We did it 8 last week. We're going all around.
And please don't say 10 p.m. Eastern time again, because it's midnight in the office and I have an hour-long drive home.
Yeah, don't die.
If you do, I'll be here for you, but it's much easier when it's earlier.
But we do it every week. So get those submissions filled up. I think we're not going to be looking at films that are over 2 weeks old, just because we have too many of them in the hopper. So we want to try to get some new films submitted. So if you submitted over like 2 weeks ago, go ahead and submit again. We're going to be working on a new website. There's all kinds of crazy stuff like Wedding Film School. Also, if you haven't noticed, we're doing a lot.
Yeah. One thing I want to add, we have our memberships on YouTube. So if you want priority in getting your film reviewed, we're trying to hit our members assuming you guys submit, we're trying to hit our members about once a month if we can. So we give, other people a chance as well, but you do get priority access to getting your film reviewed. You can check out our membership options on YouTube. Just hit the little join button next to that subscribe button, and it lays out all the details in there. You also get some other perks as well at different tiers. So check that out.
It's only $10,000.
So yeah, well, $10,000 a day. So
yeah,
no, it starts at $5. Actually, it starts at $4.99. So
yeah, that psychological benefit.
That's
all
right.
So let's watch this film, because this film is a blast. Let's have a little bit of fun.
Yes, Jason, what would you like to say? This is a
film that looks so much better with the sound on.
Yeah, make sure it's on.
Yeah, like what is on, but I'm just saying, like, the music makes the film.
Yep. Thanks, Grace. Good, let's get started.
Fysikeren I meg har alltid syntes det vanskelig å si at jeg skal elske noen for alltid.
Cool.
Men jeg har faktisk elsket deg siden jeg var 18 og akkurat ut av videregående.
I've been sitting staring at you now for minutes. You can see that ending for you.
Jeg elsker deg gjennom studien I Barcelona og gjennom 9 måneder med førstegangstjeneste. 10-talls IKEA-møbler og begge universitetsgradene våre. Jeg elsker å sove med deg I senger, I soveposer, I telt, I putefart. Jeg elsker deg når du løper opp stolsen, og jeg elsker deg når det så bakfull at du nødt til å krabbe til kjøleskapet. Jeg elsker deg når du sier masse rart I søvne, og jeg elsker deg når du sier masse rart I våkentilstand. Fysikeren I meg synes det vanskelig å si at man skal elske noe som helst for alltid.
It gets more dope, right? It gets more dope.
Men jeg kommer til å elske deg for alltid.
Right here.
La meg ta dere med på et helt vanlig hverdagsscenario I vårt hus. Jeg kryper inn I armkroken til Philip.
Other people freak out when they see us like this. Homeless souls.
The song is
Og så stryker
so
han på meg I
cool.
gode 5 minutter, før han reiser seg fra senga for å gjøre seg klar for jobb. Jeg protesterer høylytt. Roper etter han at han har stått opp
Single and shooting in a lot of cases.
Og bruker alle
With
triksene I
moving his
boka
feet,
for å få
actually.
han tilbake I sengen.
Get in there.
Litt trygling, en del trusler, og et sett nakne pupper gjør som regel susen. Og siden har Philip satt alarmen sin 10 minutter tidligere hver dag, så han kan stå opp mykt.
I'll be in your bedroom waiting, searching for more.
6 år, 4 hjemmeadresser, 2 kontinenter, hundrevis av kjøkkengulvdanser, 46 325 Facebook-meldinger,
Watching you as my remains.
og 647 episoder med Masterchef Australia senere. Så det ingenting I verden som gir mer mening enn meg og deg.
Like a ghost.
Right there.
Jeg elsker å ha vært med deg på hotell I Bali, på hostell I Oslo, på ski I Alpene, på surfebrett I Apollo River,
Vi har håndmatet ville aper I Indonesia. Vi har røykt hasj med døvstumme backpackere I en undergrunnsbar I Praha. Vi har snorklet I det indiske hav og danset I gaten I Barcelona. Jeg forstår ikke helt hva jeg har gjort for å fortjene deg. Jeg elsker deg. Jeg kommer til å elske deg til du gamle rynkete. Forbrenningen din har sviktet deg. Magemusklene dine vekke, skjegget ditt mosegrodd. Jeg kommer til å sitte oppå deg I gyngestolen og mjaue, logre eller slikke deg I øret. Til jeg får den oppmerksomheten jeg vil ha. Og true deg med å vise frem mine 80 år gamle nakne pupper om du våger å reise deg for hardt. I dag har vært den beste dagen I mitt liv. Og likevel så vet jeg at når vi våkner I morgen, så kommer livet vårt sammen til å være enda litt bedre.
Jeg skulle så gjerne fortelle alle disse menneskene her hvordan du gjør alt, til og med det vanskelige, utrolig lett. Tusen takk, Ine. Jeg elsker deg, og jeg gleder meg til å bli gammel med deg.
Like a ghost, like a like a ghost. Watching you as my remains slowly disappear.
Woo.
And I follow you.
Okay. I mean, it's all about the audio. Right?
Well, guys, time to pack it up. I quit wedding filmmaking.
We're definitely not going to critique this film because I don't think I'm qualified. But super sexy, right? Like,
yeah.
Just that music. Like, you want to talk about just using the right song? There it is. That's like if somebody's like, I don't know if I can find the right song. Just be like, hey, here's a link, and
here's the right song.
This is called Finding the Right Song 101.
Well, Grace and like they mind meld Grace and Andrew in terms of what they do. But one of the things you're going to see that she does, watch her films, watch a lot of her films. Sorry about the audio. And it's not just going kick drum cut, snare drum cut, kick drum cut, snare drum cut. She does something I love and I wish I could do it. And I do it sometimes, but she does it better than me, more successfully, which is like, there's a shot in here where she goes whoosh with her dress.
Yeah.
Spins it and it's right there. That shot right there.
She goes out.
And the sound goes. Whoop. So it's not just cut. It's movement.
You're so engrossed in this as a viewer through that movement and that audio and the song choice and the like.
It's just, it's too, the people are too cool. The filmmakers are too cool. The song is too cool. Screw these people. They're too good.
Yeah. I mean, we talked on the podcast this week with them about thinking outside the box. And I mean, I think this film does that perfectly. Like, they do everything outside the box. The name of the song is called Like a Ghost for a wedding film. What does that have to do with a wedding at all? But it works so perfectly for this
even
couple.
the lyrics did work.
And their visuals match the song too, with all their ghosting of the, the overlays and whatnot. I mean, they always are pushing themselves. They're like, how does this fit perfectly to the couple that we're shooting? Which I always just have huge respect for them.
Yeah, they're great.
That's amazing.
So if you want to know more about them, go check out the Wedding Film School show with Bottle Brush Films on live right now. Go ahead and watch it. But it's really good. They were awesome. They're a lot of fun. Australian filmmakers. We love them a lot. And actually, they're like good friends of the show.
Just like really good people too.
Friends of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jared, let's take us out of here.
Cool, guys. Well, thank you for watching WFS Live. Bobby, thank you for chiming in from Minnesota.
It's only 11 p.m. here. I got another hour of whatever I want to do until I'm caught up with you guys.
I'll be driving home an hour in a snowstorm. So good thing I have a Subi. Guys, thank you for watching, though. This doesn't make sense for us to do without your participation, without you submitting your films. If you want us to review your film next Friday night, make sure you are following the links that Bobby has provided in the stream.
Right now.
Hit him with it, Bobby. We do this on Facebook. We do this on YouTube as well. So wherever you may be wandering late night on a Friday night, you can find us there as well. Make sure you're checking out our weekly Wedding Film School show that we're doing. We release a weekly kind of podcasty show, deep dive, as we say, and we're also releasing just tons of premium YouTube content for free on the YouTube channel as well. We just launched a series called How to Film a Wedding Ceremony. You can get just insider information from the team here at Wedding Film School as well. Did I miss anything, Jay, Bobby? Anything else you want to add?
You didn't miss anything, but we love you all. Thanks for watching our show.
Have a great night, guys.